Kim Kardashian's Hidden Shame, The Tonight Show story. The studio lights dimmed suddenly. Jimmy Fallon had stopped mid-laugh and gestured to his lighting director with a gravity that silenced 300 people instantly. Kim Kardashian sat frozen in the guest chair, her perfectly contoured face streaked with tears she couldn't control. The Tonight Show cameras kept rolling, but this wasn't television anymore. Production assistants exchanged worried glances while makeup artists stood ready with tissues and touch-up brushes. It had started like every other celebrity appearance. Kim Kardashian strutted onto the Tonight Show stage in a stunning silver dress that shimmered under the professional studio lighting. The audience erupted as Jimmy bounced over to greet her with his trademark infectious energy. She was there to promote her latest SKKN beauty line, and the energy was electric with anticipation. "Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Kim Kardashian," Jimmy announced as she settled into the guest chair with practiced poise. Her makeup was flawless, her diamond jewelry caught every camera angle, and her smile radiated confidence that had made her a global phenomenon. For 20 minutes, they created perfect entertainment television gold. Jimmy tested her makeup products with exaggerated enthusiasm, creating hilarious transformations that had him looking more like a colorful abstract painting than a beauty guru. The audience roared with laughter at his comedic attempts at contouring and lip application. But then the conversation shifted naturally to beauty standards and social media influence in today's world. "You've really changed the game when it comes to beauty and social media," Jimmy said, wiping off his experimental makeup with a towel. "What advice do you give to young women who want to look like you?" Kim's practiced smile flickered for just a moment. "Well, I always say be yourself and embrace your natural—" "Come on," Jimmy interrupted playfully, his tone light but curious. "Let's be real here. You've had some work done, right? What's your honest take on plastic surgery and beauty enhancement?" Kim had answered this exact question hundreds of times with carefully crafted, polished responses. But tonight, something was profoundly different. Maybe it was the warm, intimate lighting, or the fact that she'd spent the afternoon helping North with homework and noticed her 8-year-old daughter staring at herself critically in the mirror. Kim started, then stopped abruptly. Her manicured hands began to fidget nervously with her sparkling bracelet. "You know what, Jimmy? Can I be really honest with you right now?" Jimmy's seasoned comedian instincts immediately recognized the dramatic shift in energy. "Of course," he said, his voice dropping to that warm, intimate tone, reserved for genuine moments. "I've made some controversial choices about my appearance that I thought would make me feel better," Kim began hesitantly. "But lately I watch my precious daughters looking at themselves in the mirror, and I see them finding flaws that aren't there. I see North sucking in her stomach at 8 years old. And I realize—" She stopped completely, bringing her trembling hands to her face. The studio fell into complete respectful silence. Jimmy stood up gracefully and walked over to her with purposeful steps. He knelt beside her chair with genuine concern. "Kim," he said softly, "whatever this is, we're here with you." Kim looked up at him with vulnerable eyes. She wasn't Kim Kardashian the brand anymore. She was just Kim, a mother terrified she'd passed her deepest insecurities to her children. "I'm scared, Jimmy," she whispered, but the microphones picked up every word. "I'm scared that my daughters think they need to change themselves to be beautiful. I'm scared that I've shown them that natural isn't enough." The audience was completely still. This wasn't the glamorous, confident Kim they expected. This was raw vulnerability from someone who'd built an empire on perfection. "My girls are perfect," Kim continued, her voice growing stronger through the tears. "They're absolutely perfect exactly as they are. But what if they don't believe that because of the choices I've made? What if they think they need to look like some impossible standard because their mom couldn't love herself the way she was? Jimmy stayed kneeling beside her, his full attention focused on her pain. "Kim," he said, and his voice carried the weight of every parent who'd ever worried about their children's self-image. "Can I tell you something?" She nodded, wiping her eyes with a tissue Jimmy's assistant had quietly provided. "Your daughters don't see your surgeries," Jimmy said. "They see their mom. They see someone who works incredibly hard, who built something from nothing, who loves them fiercely. They're watching you right now, being brave enough to talk about this." "What if it's not enough?" Kim asked. "Then you keep trying," Jimmy replied. "You keep showing them that real beauty comes from being brave enough to be vulnerable." Kim took a breath and turned to face the main camera. Jimmy stepped back, but stayed close. "North, Chicago, and all the young girls watching this," Kim said, looking directly into the lens. "You are beautiful exactly as you are. You don't need to change anything. I made some choices because I thought they would make me feel better. But real confidence comes from accepting and loving who you are." The studio erupted in applause, supportive and emotional. Jimmy wiped his own eyes and sat back down at his desk. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said to the camera, "that right there is what real beauty looks like. Not perfect makeup or designer clothes, but the courage to be honest about our fears and our love for our children." The segment that was supposed to be about beauty products had become something infinitely more valuable. A reminder that even the most glamorous lives carry deep insecurities, and that the best thing we can do for the next generation is to model self-acceptance and vulnerability. After the show, Kim's phone buzzed with a text from North. "Mom, I watched the show. You looked really pretty when you were crying. Love you." The clip went viral within hours, not for drama, but for authenticity. Real beauty began trending as millions of parents shared their own struggles with modeling self-acceptance. Kim had come to The Tonight Show to sell beauty products. Instead, she'd given the world something far more valuable: permission to be imperfect and to prioritize our children's self-worth over society's impossible standards. And Jimmy had learned once again that the most powerful moments happen not when everything goes to plan, but when someone finds the courage to be completely, vulnerably human. Sometimes the most beautiful thing you can show your children is that it's okay to be afraid, as long as you're brave enough to keep trying. The best gift you can give the world is the reminder that perfection isn't the goal. Authenticity. That night, Kim went home and had the most honest conversation she'd ever had with her daughters about beauty and self-worth. And somewhere in America, millions of other parents did the same thing. Because that's what happens when The Tonight Show becomes more than entertainment. It becomes a mirror that helps us see ourselves more clearly,